you, if your lands were so great, why didn't you stay in them? Why did you go all around the world, invade our countries, occupy our countries, colonize our countries? Why couldn't you stay where you were if it was so brilliant and so wonderful? I mean, why are there 20 million people of British and European descent even in Australia to begin with, if the West is so wonderful? You came to our shores long before we ever came to your shores, and you brought nothing but ruin and misery. So you can't blame us for trying to escape what you caused, what you brought. You took everything from us, and then when we try to go to where you took everything of ours, you vilify us. You say we are illegal immigrants. We are illegal for trying to escape your crimes. You took everything from us, and it's illegal for us to go to where you took it. And the fact that you could take it, the fact that you are successful criminals, you think that that makes you a great so-called civilization, while you're nothing but criminals. Nothing but pirates and marauders, thieves and mass murderers. You pave over the bodies of your victims, and then you brag about your infrastructure. We can ask you if you...
First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while unto truth, and also to those elect that scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great, powerful lesson to the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. And the type of the lesson is, woe to thee that spoilest. So I like to say Shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, we're going to do this quick Google search of colonizers. So we seen in the opening clip whereby it said the painful truth of colonizers. And we already know who is that colonizer, which in fact is the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. So let's get this quick definition, quick Google search of colonizer. So it reads, it said a colonizer is an individual or entity that establishes and controls a colony, often taking control of a territory and its people. Said this can involve a nation or government claiming and settling a new territory or a group of people settling in a region to establish control. Colonization can also be understood, say, in a more micro sense, referring to individuals who exert dominance or control within a particular group or community. So, so it's right here. Say European colonialism. It says here that the term is often associated with a historical period when European nations established colonies in the Americas, Africas, Asia, and other parts of the world, say, exerting political, economic, and cultural control over individuals' populations. So we already knowing that, that the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, is that colonizer, that went through the entire world because what? The earth was given into his hand, but only for a short season. So we're seeing right now that things are all upside down. This man is constantly destroying the earth. This man has all he has ever done was rob, steal, kill, destroy, raped, bloodshed. Everywhere this man go, death and hell follow him. This man goes in, set up his philosophy, his way of doing things. We put it like that, and also he's setting up now these puppet governments, left and right, these puppet leaders, Salakia, setting up these puppet leaders, and run things that the way they want things to run, like they call it democracy, so they try to spread this so-called democracy throughout the world, back then, colonization. So a lot of people right now, they don't want that. They're running America out of their country. All they want to do is rob them of their resources, their lands, pretty much their children, pretty much everything, so we already know what happened when, Christopher Colon, AKA, Christopher Columbus. We know what happened when he came in, what he did with the Northern tribe. And also, we already knowing about what the Spaniards, also the British, and so forth, the European, they came over, which in fact, the Edomites, when they came over here, they robbed, stealed, and killed, and destroyed. And one thing, but they constantly doing it to this day. So we already knowing that right now that, everything is being exposed. The Lord is, things that was hidden is coming to the light. So we seeing right now the Lord is constantly making Esau barren and barren. This man has destroyed everything. This man has stole everything, has changed everything. He has changed, he has changed landmarks. Like even here, America, we already know when you go into that word America, you go into Amerigo, which in fact is called bitterness, so this place here is very bitter, for the children of Israel, and one thing about it, we're still in the land of our captivity. We seeing that right now, we still our oppressor is still is over us right now, but only for a short season. The Lord is getting ready to return and come to deliver us with great glory and great power. So we already know right now, this man, he constantly, take land, take resources, rename everything, and one thing about it, you rob, steal, and kill. This man is the thief. That's why they call America the home of the thief, and the land of the slave. So we already know who that slave is, Israel, talking about the northern and the southern tribes. So we already know all the atrocities, all the blood that he has shed. Since thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. So this man, what he'll do, he'll come, that's why they call America the hammer of the whole earth. This man, the nation police, go in to people, come, bomb the hell out of them, what I'm saying, kill, this man has a body count that is world renowned. And one thing about he is the harbinger of death. Well, we don't want to go too far in it, but this, what I wanted to bring out was this, colonizer, want to give you the meaning of that, to set up the daily lesson. So we seeing right now that exactly what happened. This man brought forth all his philosophy, his influence over the modern day world as we know today. We already know that a man can marry a man, a man can marry a man, a woman can marry a woman, that do thy will spirit. This place is upside down. This place is spiritually called Sodom in Egypt. How did this all happen? We already know when this colonization started, that's when all this wickedness started also, but it was all through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. Everywhere this man go, death and hell follow him. This man has spoiled many nations. But guess what? He's getting ready to be spoiled. What was done to us is getting ready to be done to him. So, it's a reckoning is coming. Recompense and judgment is right upon us. So now, let's go here and get this quick precept. I started today's lesson. Let's go here. I might have another video I'm going to bring out in a minute if it will pull up. Let's go here first. It says here, it said Micah chapter 2. And you see how the title in this blue letter, it said, Micah chapter 2, it said, woe to the oppressor. Who is the oppressor? The so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, the colonizer, the one that brought this, all this wickedness, all this abomination, these idols, white men, Jeebus cross, all these different things, colonial plantation gospel, a lot of things this man has held to pay. So let's start here. It said Micah chapter 2 and verse 1 it said, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Who hands? You know what I'm saying? When you go to Job chapter 9 and verse 24, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. Given, you know what I'm saying? The Lord sought this up, only for a short season. And one thing about it, you know what I'm saying? So the power is in his hand. And one thing about it, we know that the devil's getting ready to fill his belly, his enterprise, his plan. So we are very close to this time. So we're seeing that right now, this man is talking about this deportation. So, already talking about, getting a lot of what they say undocumented people. Now they're saying that, they'll get ready to remove a lot of U.S. citizens pretty to make it more clear. People of colors, the Negroes, the Latinos, the Native Indians. You already know when they came over here off those boats, all hell broke loose. And one thing about all hell is getting ready to break loose again. But one thing about it, we win, though, this time. It ain't going to happen the way that this red devil think. It's inward thought that he will rule forever. So that's, let's get in the NLT. It says here, so what sorrow awaits you who lie awake at night, thinking up evil plans? You rise at dawn and hurry to carry them out, simply because you have the power to do so, only for a short season. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's getting ready to cut him off, and woe goes into destruction. So destruction is fast approaching this red devil. Verse 2. This right here is, a colonizer scripture right here. It says here, verse 2, it said, and they covered fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house. Even a man and his heritage, exactly what they have done, by violence, you know what I'm saying? Since thou hast not hated blood shall pursue thee. They come in something that they want, they take it, by violence, land, family, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, they will take it. This man will not leave anything, you know what I'm saying? This man is the harbinger of death. We constantly warning you left, right. Let's read it in the NLT. It said, when you want a piece of land, you find a way to seize it. So when you want someone's house, you take it by fraud and violence. So you cheat a man of his property, stealing his family inheritance. Who in the hell is that? The modern day so-called white man, the red man, you know what I'm saying? The devil that the Bible speaks of, the colonizer, you know what I'm saying? The base man. We can go on and on. And one thing about it, the wicked, that the Bible speaks. So right now, this is exactly what this man doing to this day. You already know he's already over in, I think he's still over in the Congo, different parts. He's everywhere. The nation police got bases all across the world. But one thing about it, we're seeing that these nations are angry. They're constantly making new alliance against this whore, which in fact is Babylon, modern day America. You know what I'm saying? This place is getting ready to go down in a blaze of glory. So people are now beginning to find out, the Lord is constantly exposing this man for what he really is. You know what I'm saying? He's making what Esau bear and bear. So it's exactly what this man is doing. Oppression, bringing forth unrighteous decrees, a lot of things, all his policy, his philosophy, his democracies. He's constantly spreading this wicked vibration throughout the earth, but only for a short season. The Lord is getting ready to take him out the way. He have bounds that he cannot pass. Verse 3 said, therefore, thus said the Lord, behold, against this family, said, do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily from this time. This time is evil. So the Lord gets ready to reward him. The Lord's getting ready to repay them. They're not going to get away with a damn thing. What we have done in our past life, we got to pay for it in this life. The Lord said what? Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. The Lord said he will repay. That's exactly what we're waiting on. We're waiting on the Lord. So, man, we are very close. Verse 4 said, in that day shall one take up a parable against you and lament, and with a doleful lamentation, and said, we said, we be utterly spoiled. Said, he has changed the portion of my people. How has he removed it from me? Said, turning away, he has divided our fields. So one thing about this man here, he constantly doing all sorts of wickedness. The colonizer, the modern day colonizers still to this day, what I'm saying, is the so-called white man. Let's read this in the NLT. Let's see how it read in the NLT. Micah chapter 2 and verse 4 said, so in that day, your enemies will make fun of you by singing this song, said, of despair about you. Said, we are finished completely. Said, ruined. Said the Almighty has confiscated our land, taken it from us. He has given our fields to those who betray us. So one thing about it, we know that we're in that transition of power, So what was done to us is getting ready to be done to them. So one thing about it, we know that slavery is coming back in a big way. This man right here, he constantly forward the affliction, since thou hast not shown mercy, no mercy shall be shown to thee. So that's why I titled today's lesson, woe to thee that spoilest. We're going to get that in a minute. Let's go here to Isaiah chapter 33. Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1. It says here, see that where the title said, the judgment of the Almighty. So let's read this. Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1 said, woe means destruction. It said, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled. It said, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. It said, when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So we already know that America, Babylon the Great, is pretty much done spoiling these nations because of what the gig is up. Now they're getting ready to be dealt with treacherously because what they have spoiled many nations. So let's go into this word spoilest. Let's go here to the interstellar right quick. Let's get a little bit more edification on that. So we already know this man take everything by violence, shed innocent blood, rob, steal, kill, raping, all sorts of mayhem, all sorts of destruction. This man brain. This man is the bloody and deceitful man, that colonizer, the one that that brought all hell with him. Let's go here. H7703. It said, to thee that spoilest. Let's get this right quick here. Let's go straight to the online biblical usage. Let's go here. It says here, let's see what it says here. Hold on one moment.
Strong's H7703. Shaddad.
Let's see here what it says. So this is spot on right here. When you go into that word, spoilest. It said to deal violently with. So you already know that's exactly what he has been doing the whole time that he's been here, dealing very, violently. He said dispose, devastate, ruin, destroy, spoil. Hey man, this is his MO. To violently destroy, devastate, dispose, pretty much the same thing here. See, we got in the most assault. Exactly. This man here is the devil that the Bible speaks of. So now let's go into the etymology. Let's go into the root word. Let's go in here to it's a reference 2331. Let's see, can we go into that? Let's see. It won't. I thought maybe it would pop open, but I don't think it won't. It won't open up. I thought maybe I could go into that, but it's all good. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, it says here. Let's see what else we got. Just checking out other things. It said oppressed. See what it said. Robber, utterly waste. That's exactly what he be doing. He's a robber. He's the oppressor. He spoil. He wastes. He constantly destroying. And the Lord's getting ready to destroy him. It was something else I wanted to get out of here. I thought I could go and press on that. I thought it had an etymology or root word, but I don't see it. What I'm saying? This could. I thought I was looking at, but that's all right for that. But you pretty much get the picture that that is right here. They said to deal violently with. So, that's the colonizer. That man, that's what he constantly doing. He used what? Also, he used the Lord's sword. So, woe to thee that spoilest. So I wanted to get that little touch on that little part right there. So let's read this in the NLT, bring it out a little bit more clarity here. It says Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1 in the NLT. It said, what sorrows awaits you Assyrians? So the modern day Assyrians is what the Americans, America, what I'm saying? It said, who have destroyed others, but have never been destroyed. Yourself, say you betray others, but you have never been betrayed. So this place have never been really attacked, have never, really just went to any type of, like these other countries that what they go to, they're war-torn country. This place, we already know about the Revolution War, that's happened several years ago, the war between the South and in the North and all these other different wars that happened, when America was getting established, these 13 colonies, George, we're talking about just total takeover, just war torn left and right, this place right here, right now is peace and safety, So right now, but we're seeing that these nations are getting ready to spoil this place, they are constantly coming into a different alliance. So let's read it again from the top again. It says, Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1 said, what sorrow awaits you, Assyrians? So modern day Assyrian is what America said. Who have destroyed others, but have never been destroyed? Say yourself. Say you betrayed others, but you have never been betrayed. Say when you are done destroying, you will be destroyed. When you are done betraying, you will be betrayed. So exactly what's getting ready to happen to America, Babylon the Great. This place where, it's a place of bitterness, a place of a rebellion. And the Lord's getting ready to wipe this place off the map, you know what I'm saying? And one thing about we already know that, we're very close to a nuclear exchange between, it's already rumors that America is talking about going into Iran, and also it was already rumors that they're talking about going into spoiling them, of their resources. They're already saying that that Iran is rich in mineral and resource, and also oil, gold, all sorts of other things. So this man here, he's once again a colonizer, but he's doing it in a different way now. He's just using that sword, not in a different way. He's doing it in a modern way, put it like that, because he have never changed. This man is constantly, but that is his blessing. Salaki, I'm kind of getting a little ahead of myself, but we're seeing right there that this he is getting ready to be overthrown. We're seeing right now the Lord's constantly overthrowing the wicked, the one that's constantly doing all this robbing, stealing, and killing. These things are getting ready to come to an end. So we already knowing that war is upon us. That's what we constantly seeing. So these nations are getting ready to deal very treacherously with America, and also the so-called white man, either nation, also these 2/3, they're getting ready to get it. The Lord's getting ready to bring forth that judgment. So I did enough talking. Let's go here to Habakkuk. If we get this one in Habakkuk, we probably close out. Habakkuk chapter 2. It's just a lesson I just seen through the Spirit, and just bringing it out. We all are watchmen. We see that we're very close. We knowing that what he's trying to do with this deportation, constantly, cause all sorts of division. This nation is divided, and what it cannot stand. Habakkuk chapter 2, and we'll start up at verse. Let's start up at verse. I think it's around verse 5. Let's start up at verse 5, and it reads, say, yea, he said, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keeper at home, who enlarges his desire as hell and as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So right now, we're saying right now, this man is a proud man, the so-called white man. He transgresses by wine, by his what philosophy. What I'm saying? His democracy, his doctrine. What I'm saying? All this influence that he's bringing in the world, this wicked vibration. The Lord himself is hell and death. Where this man go, death and hell, all sorts of violence. And all sorts of what. Blood being shed everywhere he go. He's the bloody and the sea for man. He heap into himself, all nation or what coming into this new world order. It's exactly what he want. What I'm saying? Bring everyone under his net, under his control, under his this system that he's getting ready to put into place. So we see how this working out. Verse 6 says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long, and to him that is laden himself with thick clay. So when you go into that where thick clay goes into debt. So this America is it's in tremendous debt. So one thing about it, who's putting out this taunting proverb against it? The prophet. We constantly, what I'm saying, constantly expose this man on each and every day. And we this place is finished. We constantly telling you the dark forecast of America. We telling you about wars coming upon us. We telling you about this man. Cannot trust this man. Can't trust this man. Technology, pseudoscience, none of this stuff. So this man is he's only here to rob, steal, and kill and destroy. Destruction. He is the wrath fitted for destruction. So we seeing right now that this man, he's getting ready to go haywire. The devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath. Let's read in the NLT. He said, but soon, said, their captives will taunt them. Said, they will mock them. That's the prophets saying, so what sorrow awaits you thieves? Who are the thieves? The modern day so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. Said, now you will get what you deserve. Said, you become rich by extortion. But how much longer can this go on? Not too much longer, because we're in that transition of power. We already know that, what I'm saying, by injuries gotten by, riches gotten by deceit. We'll get that in a minute. I don't want to butcher, but anyway, going into what Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 8, we'll get that in a minute, but we're seeing right now, this man, got everything by the sword, rob, steal, and kill. That's how he got his wealth. What I'm saying? This man is a thief. This man is the original caveman. And one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to put him back into that low estate. One thing about it, he getting ready to cough up everything. What I'm saying? He's getting ready to give it all back. And one thing about it, and also he's going into slavery for 1,000 years. Then he will be totally eradicated. Verse 7. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 7 said, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booty unto them. Verse 8, it said, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. It said, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, and of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So it's going to come a time, a reckoning. This man has spoiled many nations. This man, all he have done, destroy and kill. And one thing about it, this man is getting ready to be taken out of the way, violently, so we coming upon this time, so we seeing right now, we're at the end of America. We seeing that America is constantly declining. We seeing that America is constantly circling the drain. This man, we at the end of this, the revised Roman Empire. We already know what happened back in ancient time. We seeing that there's no new thing under the sun. So we're so very close. So let's get this verse 9. It go pretty good too. It said, woe to him that covetous and evil covenants to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the powers of evil. But he's in for a rude awakening. The Lord said, they will build, but the Lord said he will throw down. So we're very close to that time, the destruction of this man. So we got enough of that. Let's go to this one here. Let's go here to let's go to Obadiah. Let's get this one in Obadiah too. You know what I'm saying? You know what was done to us, getting ready to be done to them. All this spoil. We getting ready to spoil him very soon. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said we shall rule with a rod of iron. Let's get this one here. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 15. And the read said, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathens. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Said, thy reward shall return upon thy own head. So we already know, you know, this man, when he came and colonized, call it colonization or whatever he wants to call it, all this man came over here and just robbed, steal, and kill, took the land. You know what I'm saying? He killed the people, you know, they raped the people, you know, did all sorts of even have eaten the people. You know, this man have hell to pay all the atrocities, all the affliction, all the oppression. Guess what? Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. So you see what his colonization is getting, where it's going to get him. And when you look at it, you know, we get ready to do the same thing to him. We get ready to sell their sons and daughters. We get ready to shed their bloods. You know, hey, but one thing about it, you know, and one thing about it, the fear of the Lord is getting ready to come back in a big way. We know the Lord. These heathens are getting ready to know the Lord. Even the 2/3, they're getting ready to know the Lord. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Let's read this once again. So the great day of the Lord is fast approaching. The Lord is getting ready to bring for that gem. Wait on me until I rise up against the prey. So like your tongue getting a little dry. Getting ready to close out in a minute. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 15 said, for the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathens. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. So the Lord's going to bring forth that judgment, you know what I'm saying? So we don't have anything to worry about. The Lord is going to take care of us. The Lord is going to sustain us. The Lord is going to provide for us, you know, even in times of trouble. So we don't have anything to worry about, but trust and believe in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Verse 16 said, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. So that's what the Lord is getting ready to do. You know, this man is just, you know, he's just here for a moment. He's getting ready to be gone tomorrow, and he'll never rise up again. You know, so the Lord, he said he'd be just like he never was been. We're going to look at him and say, oh, this was the man that thought he was like the Most High. Or this was the man that was doing all this wickedness, all this abomination and iniquity, you know, going against Yahweh by Shema. But it's only for a short season. So it is payday. The Lord said, I will repay. That's where we at. You know, said, thou hast drunk upon my holy mountain. What is the Lord's holy mountain? It is what? Israel. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to repay. The Lord is getting ready to come out of his place into this into the third dimension on that fathership. That's why the Lord said, look for the brightness of my coming. So, you know, it's a reckoning is coming. You know, this is not going to keep going on. You think that the Lord is going to let this constantly go on, then you're a damn fool. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to end this nightmare. So now let's go here and Salakia for that. Let's close out here in Ecclesiasticus. I butchered it earlier. You might as well get it, you know, through the spirit and power. We close out there. Let's go here to Sirach, Ecclesiasticus chapter 10. And we'll start up at verse 8. And the read said, because of unrighteous dealing, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And who is that one people? That is what? Jacob, you know what I'm saying? Which in fact is Israel, the Negroes, the Latinos, the native Indians. Said, and who is the other people? You know what I'm saying? So like you said, from one people, I got it backwards. Let me start over again. I got it backwards. So that one people is what? Is Esau. And said to another is Jacob. You know what I'm saying? So Esau is the end of this earth age, this age, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. Let's read this again. It says here, Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and verse 8 said, because of unrighteous dealing, injuries, and riches got by deceit. So we already knowing how, you know what I'm saying, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, how he gets down, how he been getting down for centuries, you know what I'm saying? By deceit, you know what I'm saying? Lies and deceit, by injury, you know what I'm saying? Well, killings, all sorts of things this man has done. It said the kingdom is translated, so we in a transition of power. Said from one people, which in fact is Esau, and to another, which in fact is Jacob, you know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, you know what I'm saying? So Esau is the end of this earth age, this eon, you know what I'm saying? And Jacob is the beginning of it that follow, you know what I'm saying? Which in fact is the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. One more I want to get right quick. Let's get this here verse, Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 10. It said, the physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. So who is that physician? That physician is what? Yahushua Hamashiach, the one that's getting ready to return and cut off this long disease. What is that long disease? Sin. And also what? Esau Edom, the devil that the Bible speaks of. To right now, he's on top. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about it, he's getting ready to be on the bottom where he belongs. You know, that is his natural habitat. So the one that is first is getting ready to be last, and the one that is last is getting ready to be first. So we knowing that we're very close, you know, that the Lord is getting ready to exalt us. The Lord is getting ready to put us back in our first estate, even though we're seeing all the atrocities, all the innocent blood that was shed, the robbing, stealing, and killing, you know, just constantly, you know, all sorts of chaos and mayhem. But the Lord is getting ready to return and set up a peaceful, a righteous age. You know what I'm saying? A beautiful utopian. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you go back to the book of Genesis, you know, chapter 1, that beautiful paradise. You know what I'm saying? Going back to, like, you know, back to Edom. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord's going to return it back into the earth, back into its natural state, and also he's getting ready to put these wicked heathens back into their place, and we cannot wait. So we're seeing all the things that's are going on in the world right now. We're getting very close to all hell breaking loose. We're seeing each and every day is one thing behind another. We're seeing that the love of men is constantly waxing cold and cold, and also we're seeing that Esau Edom, the devil that the Bible speaks of, he's getting ready to use that sword in a big way. But one thing about it, he's in for a rude awakening. The Lord's getting ready to return and cut him off forever. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is Woe to Thee That Spoilest. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom, Shalom.